Okay, so let's take a look at the first Wolverine Sabretooth cover, and it's a beauty. X-Men 222. Now, this is Mark Silvestri art. Beautiful cover. So yeah, I think I'm collecting sort of late bronze, Copper Age X-Men, and I'm not trying to go overboard by trying to, collect every every book in that run. I think for me, I'm trying to collect the iconic covers, some of the more key issues, and definitely the artwork or the covers of the artists that I like. And so John Byrne I'm trying to buy as many John Byrne X-Men covers, but they're really expensive, so that's sort of a long-term project. I think the more immediate ones that I can pick up are obviously Jim Lee, so I've been focused on Jim Lee X-Men books for the moment. And then Silvestri comes right after, so if I can pick up Silvestri, that sort of Silvestri transitioning into Jim Lee run, which starts from 220. This covers is Silvestri's first book, his first cover. So that 220 through whatever, I think 280 is sort of where my focus is right now in terms of collecting. I do also want to pick up this book here, 184. This is the first appearance of Forge. Forge is always sort of one of my favorite characters at around this time. At around this time, there were characters on the teams that I think some of the younger generations just don't associate with X-Men. And one of them being Forge. Another one, for example, Havoc. I know he was in the X-Men First Class, but I don't think they didn't. I don't know if they made the connection that Havoc and Cyclops are brothers, Alex and Scott Summers. So it'll be interesting to see how they what version of the X-Men they come up with in the MCU. But I'm really hoping they stick to the comics, that they bring in characters like Forge. So this one I think for me is a spec book, but it's just also because it's a character I like, the first Forge. So, but yeah, for example, like Dazzler was a character in this period. Longshot was another character, and so yeah, like I hope they do bring back some of these older characters. And Jubilee, Jubilee was also in this. She's introduced in this run as well. So I know she's not. I don't think she's, or maybe she is part of the X. She's returned as part of the X-Men again in the current canon. But it'd be cool to see those characters make it in. As a fan of X-Men, that's what you'd want. Let's take a look at some more X-Men. So this is the first John Byrne cover, and that's a book that I definitely would want. It's a pricey book. Let me see what I have it kind of priced at. 108 is, I don't have it priced, but anyway, it's a pricey book. So this may be a long-term project. Another one is this one, the Wolverine in the yellow suit, just going berserker. So yeah, anytime you have Wolverine in berserker mode on a cover by an artist you really like, it has to be just something you want to own. So this would look great in a slab. And it also is one of the pricier titles in that Byrne Claremont run. And so let's see what is 180, 133 going for. It's $100. Actually, that's not so bad. I could pull the trigger on $100 at some point. So that's something. Let's take a look at some of the Jim Lee that I don't have. So I covered a lot of the comics of Jim Lee that I do have. Here are ones that I don't, and these are also very high priority for me, because this is pretty much what I want to collect. So we'll just go over every title here. 257, great cover. Oh my goodness, that's an awesome cover right there. You really see the fear in Wolverine's eyes, like, oh my goodness, I could die. And then this is 258, also another great Wolverine cover. Yeah, you can see where my love for Wolverine as a character comes to be. It's really through that great Silvestri art, as well as the Byrne art. But here, man, no one does Wolverine like Jim Lee. I'm sorry, no one does him like Jim Lee. This is another cover, great cover. Captain America, Black Widow. This is a great story too. So yeah, it's a great story. Yeah, there are a bunch more. I'm just gonna here's one that I don't have that I'd want right there. This one's just blowing up because it's the first appearance of Omega Red. It's a great cover, but it's cool. It's pretty pricey now, so I don't know if that's something I'd want to go after. It is a great cover, Gambit, Jubilee. Such a weird, typical 90s story arc. Anything else? This is a great cover, and this is actually something I could afford. X-Men 11. You got that classic team right there. Okay, so excuse me, my throat is raspy. Yeah, that pretty much covers the comics. So there are some other Marvel titles I guess I could go over. This is a book I want because this is the first Frank Miller. His first, I believe it's his first story on Daredevil. And so, for those of you, there's a CGC. That's the thing. I wish I had some money right now. CGC is having a signing event by Frank Miller, and the deadline to submit books is next Friday. So it's $130, which is really reasonable for a slab signature of Frank Miller. And so I was, kind of tried to bring it up to my wife today, and she just wasn't having it. So hopefully, CGC, if you're watching this video, please bring Frank Miller back again sometime, maybe next year, late next year, and I'll submit books then. I'm hoping, and also if you're watching, please have a signing event with Jim Lee, please. And please have a signing event with Todd McFarlane. I know he's probably harder to... it seems like he does signing events, so hopefully maybe he'll come. I know also I believe he grew up here in Eastern Washington, so I don't know if he still has family and friends out here in Washington State. So I know at some point maybe he'll come here and do a signing event at one of the comic conventions here. But yes, please. Those creators, who else? Who else would I want to sign a book from? Chris Claremont would be another great one. This is just a Kingpin cover on the Frank Miller run. Great. I don't have the first Elektra. That's getting pricey, but that's a book I'd want. That's another long term. The first Elektra and the Death of Elektra. Those are two that I'd want. Now here is, I would consider this a grail. And I am hoping it falls down in price because the Snake Eyes movie bombed. And I've yet to see it, but I think Henry Golding's a great actor. I think if people are having a problem with the fact that Snake Eyes was Asian in the movie, and of course in the comics he's this blonde-haired, blue-eyed, well, that's the assumption, right? Sort of American, your typical, Caucasian hero, and I get why fans would be upset. I get it, but realize if Larry Hama wanted Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow to be it was his initial intention to make these characters Japanese, okay? He just didn't have that kind of creative license to do so with a character as popular as Snake Eyes. So, but we live in a different, age now, and I think we have to celebrate diversity. So, and it makes sense. Why, I get it. They became like, so this is the thing. In the comic, they were buddies in the Vietnam War. This is not this story of this issue, but in the origin of Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes are fight in the Vietnam War together, so they're war buddies. And then after the war, Storm Shadow kind of, they're like literally like blood brothers, because they've spilled blood for each other. And so, in the comic, it's Storm Shadow's the one that saves Snake Eyes' life. So Snake Eyes saves Storm Shadow's life and then gets badly injured. That's what happens, right? His face gets just, like, basically an explosion happens and he gets glass and stuff in his face, and he's disfigured and whatnot, and so that's why he wears this mask. And so Storm Shadow owes him that debt of gratitude and brings him to Japan and trains him through his ninja clan. And then they, I think Snake Eyes is set up by someone within the organization, their ninja organization, to have killed their master. And so Storm Shadow thinks it was Snake Eyes who did it, but it really wasn't. He was set up. And so, Snake Eyes can't speak, so he's not able to really defend himself. So there's this misunderstanding that takes place, and then they part ways. Snake Eyes joins G.I. Joe, and then Storm Shadow joins Cobra. So that's sort of the story behind these two really iconic characters. And this is the Larry Hama story that's just on this run. The Larry Hama stories on this early G.I. Joe run is just amazing. And if I could collect this entire early series, like 1 through whatever, that might be something I'd want to do at some point, but it has to begin with this. If I'm going to do it, this has to be the first, or I mean, this is to be the pinnacle of that run. And it's so, this is a grail of mine, and I'm hoping it falls down in price a little bit. But it's such a popular issue, I doubt it will go down much, if at all. So for me, my only hope is to either pick up, like for me, I want to pick up the first print, but so yeah, essentially, this is just one of my grails. Great cover by Klaus Johnson, and story by Larry Hama. Yeah, I'm hoping to pay somewhere in around 300 for it. I probably have to buy it graded, so it's probably slabbed. I'd love a 9.8 in this, but that's an impossibility, I think, at this point. If I could get it like an 8.5 or a 7 to 8.5 copy, first print, under $500 would be my hope. And I think I could probably do that. I can probably get it. I can probably get it now for like around $300 from somebody or somewhere. But this is the ultimate comic for me. Ultimate comic. Great Klaus Johnson cover. The silent issue itself is just amazing. There's absolutely no dialogue in here. It's you see it from sort of the perspective of Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is mute, so you see it from his perspective. Just no words. But the panels just tell an amazing story. He essentially like goes in and rescues Scarlet, who's been captured by Storm Shadow. He goes in, rescues her, comes out, and Storm Shadow almost gets him, but there's something cool that happened. I won't ruin. So for those of you who want to maybe read it at some point, I won't ruin it. But there's a twist at the end that's pretty cool, as well as like a reveal. So we'll keep it there. All right, so let's see. I've gone through some of the covers that that are on my wish list. These are some of the other ones. For example, like Sensational She-Hulk 1. I think that'd be a cool book to have. There are more Daredevil on here that's not on this list at the moment, but Daredevil's another title and character I really love. And that Frank Miller run on Daredevil is just, to me, like, it's basically a precursor to The Dark Knight Returns, which is our modern day Batman. Frank Miller literally created the modern day Batman with his Batman Year One and Batman The Dark Knight Returns. But Daredevil. So Daredevil and Batman share a lot of similarities in that they both don't have powers. They rely on just like discipline and training and honing skills. Although Daredevil does have super heightened senses from this like toxic accident that he has that blinds him, basically. Like toxic junk gets into his eyes and it blinds him, and then he this dude named Stick trains him in these like dark ninja art ways. Um, and for those of you who've watched Daredevil, the series, or read in these books, you know this story. But yeah, so Daredevil really becomes very gritty and dark during the Frank Miller run. I mean, there's like, you know, they dealt with themes of like, um, like drug abuse, crime, and like, just a lot of like sort of dark urban, uh, like urban crime uh, themes. And so that's where I think Frank Miller just like honed this like very like um, dark, gritty style to storytelling in sort of like a first person narrative, and you see that translate into the Dark Knight Returns. So yeah, um, there are these transitions that happen, and so if you love Batman as a character, and you love what Frank Miller did with that character in the late, you know, sorry, in the middle of that Copper Age period, then you want to go get Daredevil 158, which is the first Frank Miller, and pick up some of those other Frank Miller stories, like the first Elektra and the death of Elektra. So yeah, that's another thing. What else is on here? We've got some of the Spider-Man comic book series, the McFarlane run, so low Spider-Mans. Transformers, yeah, I'd want to get the Transformers one. That's another one you'd want. That's my childhood right there. Transformers, G.I. Joe, XMen, Batman. So yeah, we'll get into my DC books, the DC books that I like, on another video. It'll come up soon. But for now, I think this is a good place to just sign off and say thank you for watching. I just basically went through some of the books that are on my wish list, want list, things that I'll try to pick up once I get some cash. I'll try to pick those up. I anticipate it won't be a while, so I don't know what. In the meantime, I don't know what I'm going to do to fill content, because I have to go with haul videos, which I can't do because I can't go to the comic shop right now. I mean, I can, but I just can't buy anything, so there's no point. So when I'm able to do that, I'll have some content then, and hopefully you'll see some of these books in that haul, the books that I went over. I'm hoping to get at least one or two of them on my next ability to pick up comics. And oftentimes it's not, you don't have complete control of what you pick up. If you see a book that you like and it's at a good price, might not be on this list, but it's something that maybe it's a spec book, or it's something like a key that's that is like, oh, this is a good price for it. Kind of like when I picked up DC Comics Presents number 49. It wasn't really on my list, but now I'm kind of actively looking for Black Shazam and Black Adam stuff, and so we'll cover that when I get to my DC stuff. Alright, so thank you for watching.